On rentre dans le dur, mesdames et messieurs, le plaisir de vous saluer, de vous accueillir. Le bowling La Sphère, Fontaine-le-Comte dans la région de Poitiers. On va continuer notre quête, destination le numéro 1 pour savoir qui va repartir avec le titre suprême. Évidemment, cette Master Series, la Bowling Promotion Tour, 14e édition. 2 candidats, mais une seule place pour continuer à progresser. Lequel de ces deux va continuer cette aventure pour peut-être affronter le meilleur des meilleurs qui nous attend en première position? C'est ce qu'on va découvrir tout de suite.
Welcome, everyone, to the 2023-2024 season of the Bowling Promotion Tour QubicaAMF Masters Series. This is our 11th of 15 matches we'll be bringing you as part of this stepladder. And we saw Marc Chavet introduce our competitors today. It's the number 6 qualifier, Belgian Louis Bonnet, the powerful two-handed righty, versus the number 5 qualifier, Halvar Hagen Nilsen, the 22-year-old from Norway. So a pair of 22-year-olds competing here today, and also both players using the same equipment, the purple hammer, and they'll be bowling on the Brunswick Gateway Arch oil pattern, a 42-foot 9-to-1 oil pattern. So the pocket's been pretty accessible throughout the stepladder, but we have seen some transition and some breakdown as we've gone through these various stepladder matches. And it will be Nielsen kicking us off on the left lane. And watch the stroke on this young man. It is really just picture perfect. And you see that pendulum swing and gets through the shot nicely and comes up for the perfect strike to kick things off. My name's Bruce Hall. I'm your international commentator for these matches. And here is Nielsen right over the 15th board and out to the dry and turns it up through the pocket just perfectly. And you can see Bruno Bidone and Marc Chavet, the voice of the Tour de France, in the background. They are calling the French version of these matches. And let's get our first look at Bonnet. Bonnet shot 227 in his last match against Anthony Trigaday. Comes up a little bit high here for a 4-pin. And again, that's that right lane, right in the mid lane. You can see a real jump starting to really dry out there. And the players have had to make an adjustment left. This is definitely left of where Bonnet started. That crosses about the 13th board maybe, gets out to that dry and turns up. Lucky not to leave the 4-9 combination, but just leaves the relatively simple 4-pin. Again, we are at Fontaine-le-Comte at the Bowling Sphere. And this is one of 3 qualifying locations for the 18 games that these players have bowled. The other 2 in Bayeux and Rennes. And we visited some other locations in St. Lo, for example, for team qualifying. So quite the tour of France has resulted in this stepladder, as well as the Baker doubles, as well as team competition. And we will be returning to complete the team and Baker competition later on in this series. Thank you for tuning in. Please like and subscribe. We're over 30,000 subscribers in our YouTube channel now, doing really well. And here is Bonnet, gets it out a little bit to the right, comes up and scrambles the rack for a strike in the second. And that's a good shot by Bonnet, so we have not missed the pocket yet. And watch this. It's going to get a little bit to the right, but with all that power, actually just in the right place on the break point, comes up, shreds the rack, and that's going to be a strike for Bonnet in the second. Nielsen, the number 5 qualifier, averaged 219 in his 18 games of qualifying. And again, gets it out to that dry. You see it bounce off that dry and come up high flush. And that's a really nice adjustment there. You know that he moved left in his practice to take care of and address that dry that's there on that right lane. And a good shot there by Halvar. And you can really see, watch the ball just pick up right there. It really turns. But the purple hammer lays off on the back, doesn't go too much through the pocket. And here's a good shot from the front of Halvar's approach, and you can see his elbow is in right next to his ankle, and strokes it through that mark, and give me the double. Thank you very much. Good shot there by Nielsen. Can he make it 3 in a row? On this left lane, and he got around it just a little bit to the right. Comes up late for the week 10, and this is the classic late to the pocket. 6-pin doesn't do its job, lays in the channel. Let's watch, see how far this ball gets out to really maybe the 6 or even the 5 board. Comes up and you see the 6-pin there lay in the channel, and will not give him the triple. Still a good start by Nielsen, and he's got the 9-pin lead as we move into the third frame. I'd like to thank QubicaAMF for signing on for a 3-year sponsorship for this Masters stepladder, and no trouble covering the 10-pin there for Nielsen. And indeed, so we will be seeing these matches for years to come. And if you're interested in touring France and being part of this qualifying and perhaps getting on TV, check out the Bowling Promotion website. And the tour takes place in the end of September, early October each year, and you can sign up and go visit these beautiful places in France. They welcome international players. And here's Bonnet, kind of straighter up the lane, and gets right through that dry, but it leaves him a ringing 10. And he kind of a little faster here, and it's kind of straighter at it. It was over 12, but it did not get out to the dry, so it just kind of lays off. You see the ball deflect a little bit there to the right, and there's the solid 10. So we've seen a weak 10 and a solid 10. 10 pins by far the most common leave on this oil pattern, because it is 42 feet. There isn't a lot of dry outside. It's pretty flat outside of 10, the 10 board. So, and now straight out to the 10 pin, no trouble there on the cover. And we have a 9-pin match with both players on spares in the third frame. As we said, this is our 11th match. We started off with Monica Shack-Nielsen winning 3 matches in a row over Gerald Dancine, Stanislav Nodine, and Gwendol Joliffe. And then she fell to Gaetan Carew, he of the bicep injury. And he won that match, but then lost to Sophie Kiergaard-Nielsen. And again, here's Bonnet on the left lane, comes up light for the 2-pin, and there's that tighter lane, just doesn't have that same reaction coming off the spot as you'll see on the right lane. And you can see this ball, the same thing that happened to Halvar on his shot on this lane, just a little bit straighter at the bend, goes a little bit forward, doesn't slow down and make the corner, and there's a 2-pin, our first ball out of the pocket in this match. Said it was Sophie Kiergaard-Nielsen defeating Carew. Then she bowled her twin Karen. This was in our 6th match. And Sophie defeated Karen in that match, then went on to lose to Anthony Trigaday. Oh, and meanwhile, Bonnet goes by the 2-pin. There's surprising unforced error there. And that's going to increase Nielsen's lead to 21, just sitting on the bench. And unfortunately, Bonnet just did not get that ball to the left to cover the 2-pin. Definitely an unforced error there for Bonnet, and let's see what Nielsen does with it. It was Anthony Trigaday beating Nielsen 236 to 181. Then Anthony Trigaday defeated Jack Blythe, as well as Heloise Cortin, before losing to Bonnet. And can we get up? Yes, perfect strike there for Nielsen. He's definitely in control. He's only left the 1 weak 10 so far. Halvar has international experience. We've seen him in the U.S. compete in a Megabucks tournament over the U.S. Thanksgiving holiday weekend in 2023. We've seen him in New England Bowling Association events, and he's proven himself quite competitive in these events over here. And now up on the left lane. Can he double up and jump on that open by Bonnet? And gets it out, turns it up, a little bit late, and another 10-pin. So that's our third 10-pin of the match. And again, that left lane a little bit sluggish, just won't make the turn. So I think he might have got this one just a touch fast and just a little bit inside. It doesn't take much. And the same leave as he left last time. Now let's see what adjustment he makes in his next chance on this left lane. It'll be interesting because sometimes it's very easy to over-adjust. Move right, ball picks up early through the beak, all kinds of issues. You're always nibbling around the pocket, especially when the scores can be higher. Need to find a way to strike. And Nielsen right at the 10-pin, no problem there. Maintains his 21-pin lead. So let's see if Bonnet can recover here. Louis Bonnet, a regional champion in 2023. He was the FFB champion in the men's category of scratch in 2022. He's the Belgian youth champion in 2018 and in doubles in 2017. So Bonnet with and there's another ring 10 for Bonnet. Unfortunately, he's got 5 shots, just one missed the pocket. He's only got 1 strike to show for it, so can't figure out the carry on this gateway arch oil pattern. And again, we've seen that all along. People have been nibbling around the pocket, and it's those that figure out how to strike, especially later in the game, which we saw Trigaday do so well in his matches. And here is Bonnet, wastes no time, goes after that 10-pin, no problem. And again, we stay at a 21-pin match halfway through. Coming up in the stepladder, we have Kenny B.O., the number 4 qualifier, Gregory Reuse, the number 3 qualifier, last year's champion Jaime Gonzalez, number 2, and Martin Larson is our number 1 qualifier. So 4 more matches coming up, and that will conclude this Masters stepladder. There is Bonnet again, straighter at it, and there's the same 2-pin he just left. So we've seen 2 weak 10s on the left lane back-to-back by Nielsen. We've seen 2 2-pins on the left lane from Bonnet, and again, the left lane playing tighter. In other words, more oil, not hooking as much, doesn't get the corner. And there's the exact same leave that Bonnet had last time. And maybe the bowling gods are saying, okay, let's go back and let's make this 2-pin this time. And again, a very surprising unforced error last time on that 2-pin. And no trouble here this time. So, but unfortunately, Bonnet in 6 frames only able to strike once. Again, we will have the team championships coming up. It's Team Sirius versus Team Worlds coming up, and we also have Baker mixed doubles finals coming up on the same YouTube channel. So if you haven't liked and subscribed, please do so. We're over 30,000 subscribers, doing really well on our YouTube channel. And of course, Bruno Bidone, the most excellent host and producer of these matches. There is Halvar right out to the dry. Look at that perfect angle to the pocket. And Nielsen really in command of this match, unless Bonnet can figure out how to strike here on the back end of this match. It will be Halvar Hagen Nielsen moving on to take on Kenny B.O. next. And there is right over the 3rd arrow. Boy, he just splits his mark and shreds the rack. Perfect shot by Nielsen. Nielsen now in the last 4 frames of the match with a 22-pin lead now. Can increase it to 32 with a strike here. Back-to-back weak 10s. Let's see what happens here. Gets it way out to the right. Ooh, and he gets it off the dry, and it comes up and flush in the pocket. Boy, that was an interesting strategy to get it out to the right, because this oil pattern doesn't have a huge amount of dry out there. It's pretty flat, but he gets it to turn off the corner. And I think he also gave that one a little bit of extra juice at the bottom of his release. And that ball pretty much bounced off the mid lane, came back through for a perfect flush pocket strike. And a bigger lead. And here is Bonnet straight at it. Yeah, he gets the scrambling mixer there. Maximum 227 for Bonnet at this point. Halvar pacing to 219, so just one more strike for Halvar and then Marc's, and he can shut out Bonnet. So Bonnet is pretty much in a must-strike situation here. He's 32 pins down. He can bring it down to 22 and then hope Halvar Nielsen does not strike again on the right lane where he has not missed. So Bonnet pretty much in a must-strike situation here. And that two-handed style, you get that power right up the dry, and another two-pin. 3 2-pins in a row, and that one I think he made an adjustment to get it left of target. He tries to get it up the lane, and that's the third 2-pin in a row on that left lane for Bonnet. Just cannot get the ball to behave and turn up through the pocket. And unfortunately, it's not so much that he avoided the split, it's that he cannot double. And again, another spare, and that's fine. Even if he had made that spare, he'd still be behind by 20 or more because he just can't put a double together here. So now, Bonnet's maximum at 207, with Halvar now up on the right lane and looking to really put this away. Halvar just needs, at this point, Marc's to take this match. And again, gets it out to the dry. You see it come off that dry, and it just goes perfectly through the pocket. And that will pretty much do it. He could just about have 2 opens here and still give Bonnet more than he could handle, but there's the right out. You see it. Watch it pop off that dry. Comes perfectly through the pocket. Halvar working his break point expertly here. Just those 2 weak 10s in the 3rd and 5th frame. And he got one way to the right on this lane. Got it to recover, come up and flush. And let's see what Halvar does here. Halvar 259 possible. Gets the mixer, but will not carry the 7-pin. And all he has to do is make this spare, and that will take care of this match. And again, he doesn't quite get it as far right, so he doesn't pick up the dry, but it does get to the pocket. Could have gone, but sometimes you see that late mixer yield that 7-pin. And this for the match, if he can convert this 7-pin here for Nielsen. And yes, does quite just make the conversion there. And that's going to pretty much do it. That will put Halvar in the 2-0s just in the 9th frame with Bonnet's max at 207. So we will see Halvar Hagen Nielsen move on to face Kenny Biot from France. Biot also averaging 219, just a little bit above Halvar in his qualifying. And there's the strike that Bonnet was looking for. Let's see if he can finally figure out this left lane. He's left 3 consecutive 2-pins on it, all coming up light, I'm sure, after making adjustments. Just can't get the ball to make the turn. Watch this go out to that dry. You see it pick up on that dry, goes in flush, high flush pocket. Great shot. And let's see what Bonnet does here Gregory Reuse averaging 220 in the qualifying. Jaime Gonzalez 221. And Martin Larson with a dominant 229 average in his 18 games of qualifying. And there is the strike, and finally a double by Bonnet on that left lane. Finally got the ball up to carry. And we will see an interview with Marc Chavet and Louis Bonnet after this match, so please stick around for that. And of course, if you haven't hit like and subscribe, please do so, and you'll be alerted to new matches as they're released. And again, the next match will be Hagen Nielsen against Kenny B.O. And Bonnet, can he put another one together? That was left, but he does get the mixer. He pulled that one up the oil, and it went down the lane, and now the strikes are coming for Bonnet. He needed these earlier in the match, and unfortunately those 3 light hits on the left lane, leaving that 3 consecutive 2-pins, did him in to the striking of Halvar Hagen Nielsen, who has a double and a triple in the match, and a possible 238. And now he gets some encouragement from the crowd, and he gets that one out. And oh, see, there's the risk. You go right, and you get the ball to go too early to that dry, and it picks up and goes through the beak, as you saw there. So will be 204 for Louis Bonnet. So he did come back a little bit in that match, but even if he had converted that 2-pin, he's only in the 2 teens, and Halvar Nielsen cruising to the 220s right now. Yeah, a little bit of a victory lap for Nielsen. He's not gonna. And does he get the roll on the 8-pin? No, he gets the light mixer, and leaving just the 8-pin. We'll see if Halvar decides to try anything different here. Sometimes when you've locked up a match and you know you have another match coming, you might try a different ball or try to do a little different line change or something like that. We'll see if Halvar does anything like that to prepare for his next match against Kenny B.O., the Frenchman. Instead, he just simply covers the 8-pin there, and Nielsen will be in the 220s. Just those 2 weak 10s, and that mixer 7. So really just light hits on the left lane is the only time that Halvar has missed. And his last shot here on the right lane, and why not for the ring 10 for 226. So 226 for Halvar Hagen Nielsen, and it will be the interview now with Marc Chavet and Louis Bonnet. So good match there. And here's some highlight shots from Halvar. This on the left lane. That was one of his earlier shots in the match, and dead flush there. Thanks, everybody. I'm Bruce Hall, and we will see you at our next match on this same YouTube channel. And again, stay tuned for the interview between Marc Chavet and Louis Bonnet.
Alongside Louis Bonnet representing Belgium, the man from Brussels. It was a great showing in the tournament, but Louis, when you're shooting 7-9s at this level of competition, there's no way you can take it all the way.
Malheureusement, voilà, un mauvais choix tactique. Dès le départ, j'ai voulu adapter mon jeu par rapport aux boules d'essai à cause, entre guillemets, je pense, de cette petite pause qu'il y a eu à midi. Voilà, malheureusement, mon choix tactique n'a pas été celui que j'espérais ou aussi efficace que je l'aurais espéré. Je fais 7-9 sur la partie, ça veut dire que ce n'est pas forcément des mauvaises boules, mais ça veut dire qu'il manquait quelque chose à la finition. Donc voilà, il n'y a aucun regret sur la partie. J'ai fait mon maximum et je peux ressortir la tête haute.
Louis telling us there's a little something missing on his different balls here, finding 7 times 9. That's not going to be enough to get you across the finish line there. A tactical decision that he made a little bit earlier on, perhaps not the right one. Nevertheless, Louis going all the way, winning 1 match today on the field, and of course losing one as well. He did call out as well the lunch break that might have had an incidence, because it was a different Louis that we saw up against Frenchman Anthony than we saw up against Norwegian Halver.